Welcome to another video tutorial brought to you by ThinkBright. Today's tutorial we're going to show you how to set up an auto attendant, otherwise known as an IVR. This tutorial could also be used for both Trixbox users as well as FreePBX users, since the interface is very similar. Let's go over to the setup menu and scroll down to IVR. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what an auto attendant does, an auto attendant is a way for a company to provide a menu to their caller with menu option prompts, allowing them to streamline their traffic. For example, welcome to company ABC. Press 1 for sales, 2 for support, 3 for technical service. If you know the extension you're trying to reach, dial it now, or press 0 for an operator, or maybe you might even want to go ahead and say press pound for the company directory for a dial by name directory. So this would be a perfect example for an auto attendant, which we can go ahead and create. So let's go ahead and click on Add IVR in the top right corner. Okay, so let's start off with change name. Here we're going to go ahead and define our the name of the auto attendant. So we'll call it ABC normal, maybe for normal hours, right? Now this is the timeout. This is the amount of time that after the recording plays that will go ahead and then repeat itself again. So maybe I want to reduce this to half the time, and this is measured in seconds. Then the next box is enable directory. Now if you check this box off, it means that during the menu, if someone interrupts it by pressing pound, or if you want to say at the end of your recording, please press pound for a company directory, they will be able to access the dial by name directory. Now in a previous tutorial during setting up extensions, we showed you how to define different VM contexts, different contexts, so that you can deposit certain extensions into different groups. For example, if your PBX server was containing two companies, company ABC and company XYZ, you would be able to select this from the drop-down menu. So for example, let's say we're dealing now with creating the auto attendant for company ABC. Then our directory context here, we want to go ahead and choose comp ABC. And so for example, if I created another extension and that company was company XYZ, we might want to go ahead and choose company comp XYZ from the drop down when we create our auto attendant for that company. So now let's go ahead and proceed and check off enable direct dial. And this ability will allow the person during the playing of the menu to go ahead and interrupt it by entering in the 3 or 4 digit extension of the person they're trying to reach. So for example, if I was at extension 300 and the menu was being played to the caller, that caller could go ahead and interrupt it and just type in 300 and get straight to me. The next field is the announcement field. This is where you're going to actually choose your recording. So your recording would have been created under system recordings, and this will be displayed under another tutorial brought to you by ThinkBright. But for right now, let's say we've already created our recording. So from our drop-down menu, we'll be able to go ahead and select ABC Open, which was the recording containing the greeting for when the office is open. Now below this, you'll go ahead and see that there's a couple of empty boxes. By default, the system will allow you to create 3 menu options. If you need to create more menu options, you can very easily do so by clicking the increase options button, which will go ahead and create additional boxes for you. So for example, let's say we're going to put this as option 1, option 2, and option 3. On the right hand side, you get to choose from this list of radio buttons what kind of feature do you want it to go to. Do you want to go directly to an extension? Do you want it to go to a voicemail of a particular extension? Do you want it to go to another auto attendant perhaps for like a submenu of options? For example, press 1 for tech support. And then under tech support, if this is for Windows, press 1. If this is for Mac, press 2. That's a submenu, so you might want to do that. Conference. There's also a conference room ability on this server, so you could send people straight to a conference room. Queues are waiting rooms. So if you want to go ahead and send the person to, let's say, a sales team of a couple of individuals in your company handling sales, that might be another option. And then there's, of course, ring groups. You can go ahead and send them to a ring group, which is basically an ability to ring a particular set of extensions in a certain order or certain grouping. There's also other options you can send them to. Of course, you're not going to see the menu options until you actually create at least one of these types in here. For example, if I were to not have created this ring group 600, then it will not show up in my menu interface right now. So keep in mind that you can only point things to things that have already been created. So let's say one was sales. We want to send it to the waiting room of salespeople. 2 was technical support. We'll go ahead and send that to the technical support team, which is, let's say, a ring all of all my extensions. And then option 3, we might say, to leave a message in our general inbox. And maybe our general inbox was extension 204, and we can choose to send it to the unavailable greeting message, no message, or the busy message that was defined for that extension. And then once we do that, we can hit save. And once we hit save, we can go ahead and apply the changes. Continue with the reload. And now you'll go ahead and notice that as we created ABC Normal, go ahead and look at the IVR drop-down menu. You'll go ahead and see that ABC Normal is one of the choices. So for example, if you went back to your auto attendant and said, you know what, I would like it to say, to hear this recording again, press 3. And you can go ahead and choose option 3 and choose IVR and choose ABC Normal. Return to IVR is an ability that if you check this, it will just go ahead and return it to the parent IVR. So for example, let's say this was a submenu and we're creating a new IVR right now. We can go ahead and check this off, and it will return to the auto attendant that came right before this, the IVR that came right before this. So return to the previous menu, press 4. You would do something like this, and that will take him back to the previous auto attendant that the person heard before they got to this auto attendant. So this has been another tutorial brought to you by ThinkBright. Thank you for watching.